Hey, we're live,
from the
so
message.
if you could talk into the microphone.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the locker room.
It's better than, well, the message was good for what it was. But I'm calling. Hold on, guys. Wait.
This is how we roll.
We're like super live? Guys, give me a second here. What are we studying today?
Isaiah 55 and 56.
There we go.
And we do. Maybe we should note that we have us two sets of siblings at the table.
I know,
this
it feels
morning.
dangerous. Feels dangerous.
There could be stories. Guys.
How far apart are you guys?
15 months.
Ooh, almost Irish twins.
Yeah. Wait, is Joe Jr. The eldest?
He's the oldest, and then me. And he and I are about 20 months apart, but then Matt and I are a little further apart, almost 3 years.
Wow.
I look younger, but I'm older.
That is true.
Well,
That's so true.
no, Matt, you're August 11th.
1973.
Yeah, and I'm October 1970.
Wow, that's pretty, almost 3 years.
A couple of months shy.
You got to be a
3
little
years.
closer. Sorry.
That's one thing growing up. Matt didn't like that
Here
his
we go.
birthday. You wanted it to be the 11th. Why was that?
Because it sounded cooler than the 11th. That's probably why. I know.
Also, you had this thing growing up called your SI. Do you want to talk about that? No. SI stands for situation. So he had a situation and he called it his SI.
What does that even mean?
I was going to come on and tell all kind of good stuff about you, Lib, and now you're dropping this, and I'm going to have to share all my dark secrets. You guys, really, the SI comes out of a strong moral obligation.
It's true.
To the truth.
Actually.
Okay.
I probably was spanked so hard for not telling the truth sometime that I...
Mom or dad?
Oh, always dad. Well, maybe 50-50.
We actually got the double rod for lying.
We did.
Double
rod.
We had all kinds of, yeah.
Was there a dedicated rod? Or
Yes,
It was
on
a
top of the
wooden
fridge.
spoon.
On top. Okay.
And you knew if that was coming out, you were in trouble.
Well, and it was very controlled. Like we got 3 swats for a spanking, but if we lied, we got 6 because they're like lying is the worst
Yeah.
Yeah,
in their hierarchy.
And 6 is the
it
number
was
of man.
bad. The double rod. So I probably got the double rod for lying at some point, and then I in my mind it was like I'll never lie again. But
sweet.
then it like turned into this thing where I couldn't like tell the truth. Not tell the truth. I couldn't like express myself about anything because I was afraid I was gonna lie. So Libby gave me this. Of course, Libby gave me this Christmas gift that I probably thought was pretty cool. It was like a car or something. But when she asked me, did you even like the gift I gave you?
You started overthinking it.
I was like, well, I don't want to lie because I probably wanted like the red car instead of the blue car, but it was a blue car. And I'm like, I think it's okay, Lib. And by the end of it, I would just say my SI. And that just meant like I didn't feel comfortable to really share. Guys, I was like 6. I was like,
I don't understand the acronym though. Like why SI?
It's the first 2 letters of situation.
Okay. My
So it's my
situation.
situation.
I didn't know if there's another word.
So if he said, it was so cute actually, because I was 3 years older than him. So if he'd be like, my mom would be like, Matt, did you miss us? And he would just look down and be really distraught, and he'd go, my SI. My SI. Because like he kind of missed him, but he didn't want to say yes if he really did.
So I got him like saying what I really thought.
Yeah. So when did you break that?
I think I got spanked for it, and then that was done.
This is what got me here, and this is what got me out of this place.
I think my parents were just like, we can't have this like anymore.
They're like, if you say that one more time.
He would never give any answers to anything because he was always afraid he was going to lie. And he didn't want to lie,
Guys,
which is actually so sweet.
Guys,
it's actually
this
really
is
sweet.
not going in the podcast, right? By the way, we've already started. Oh
yes.
no!
This is classic. So,
Okay.
do you have any stories about each other?
Well, Eric
and
used
Trey.
to intentionally make things up that I did not do just because he had the pleasure of watching me get in trouble.
Smart.
Give us
And
an
he would
example.
stand behind my parents and point at me and smile while my parents
I
were
was the poster child for being a provocateur and an instigator. And
that's
it just
good.
brought me so much twisted pleasure to see him get in trouble, for which I've repented several times. But
it worked
is true.
because I was the kid that got in the most amount of trouble.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't hard to believe
Yeah.
the things that he was telling
it wasn't
my
hard
parents.
to
He just
provoke.
capitalized on something that was already partly true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Any examples? Do you ever?
Too many. I don't know. Most are not safe to share on a podcast.
Are you the youngest, or do
No,
you have
it
younger
goes Grace.
sisters? Okay.
Trig, me, and Siri like the phone.
So you guys are the
before
middle.
the phone.
Both the boys are the middle.
Yeah,
middle.
we're the middle, and we're
Lord.
15 months apart. So we were, yeah. Eric's got a scar on his lip right here from when we used to play ping pong after school, like every single day, and I would get so mad when I'd lose. And one time, Eric was just provoking me, so I got done with the game and chucked the paddle as hard as I could at his face and slit his lip open. He got stitches. My parents were so mad. So every time I see that, yeah, we loved
You loved
hard,
each other.
and we were
Yeah.
a loud family.
Spicy.
Yeah, we were a spicy
Spicy.
family. A lot of athletes. Yeah, all the siblings were athletes. All of them leaders. Yeah. So, the Veker household.
Did you guys? So you've been. Eric,
Did you guys have a wooden spoon? How big was your wooden spoon?
Did it have holes in it?
To make it more aerodynamic.
Yeah. So you've been, Eric. You've been on staff now for
Since May.
May. So
May, June,
what's
July,
it like working
August.
together?
Yeah,
Brothers
it's a
on
blast.
staff.
Yeah, I mean, apart from Trig, it's both been a blast and a whirlwind this summer, but also like it feels like I've been here for 5-10 years just with our history with the church. So it's been a total joy, and we've dreamt about working together, me and Trig, for a long time. So I don't know. I think it's exceeded expectations. We literally rub shoulders. We see each other. We check in, but there's not a whole lot of overlap other than just cheering each other on and learning from each other.
Yeah, for
hopefully,
sure.
at least me from him. So
The fun thing to watch for me, and maybe for you too, Matt, from the outside, is watching you guys is you're both equally passionate, but you're totally different. You're so different.
that was something we had to work through, I think, because there were so many similarities. I mean, coming to faith at the same time, being very similar age, playing on the same college football team, high school. I mean, having a lot of the same friends. So, like, we've always just been sort of together and looked at similarly. I mean, the question we're always getting is like, who's older? I mean, we're so close in age that you almost think of us as twins, and then we get into ministry and we have very different personalities, and for a long time I think both of us felt like it was a moral difference when it was really just a wiring, like we're just different in the way we're wired, and so I think that we've gotten very comfortable with that, and
People perceive Eric to be older almost every time.
Well, he's an old soul for sure, and he's got a finesse about him. You're a little bit more like a bull in a china shop, which is you kind of have like a a raging passion, and you guys are both amazing.
China shop and a raging passion
compared to the finesse old soul that's to your right.
It's a joy. I mean, Eric led me to the Lord, so. We were actually not in a good place relationally before that. So, like, even though we were close and we weren't, I would not even consider, like, we weren't even really friends at that point in our lives. Eric was a senior in high school, and I was going into my sophomore year of college, and we didn't really have a relationship. So the Lord really redeemed that in an amazing way. And then we went our own paths for the first 8 years each, 8, 9, 10 for me, years of ministry, and then. Never dreamed of being at the same place. But actually, Eric was Rod's intern way back in the day when he was dating Liv, who he met on an Israel trip in 2016, which is why both of us are kind of here. But anyways,
awesome.
That's kind of enough on that. But this fall, there's a lot of fun stuff going on, and we heard a little bit about some of it. We've tried to consolidate some of that information. So if you weren't there on Sunday, we handed out these ministry brochures that kind of get you in the flow of what's going on in all the different ministries at Crossroads, so you can check that out. I wonder, do we have a digital version online? I was just going to say,
I wonder if the PDF's online. We could maybe link a PDF too at the show notes.
Yeah, we'll link the PDF in the
website.
show notes. And then inside of that, we had a little card speaking about 180 Place. Matt, what is 180 Place? Why did we, what is it, and why do we have it?
Perfect. So excited to talk about it. As many of all of us know, as Crossroads fills up and things get more crowded, and one of the main visions of our church is to always use this building for ministry. And if you come by this church, almost every night it's full. Almost every room is full, being used in tons of different ways, not just for Crossroads stuff, but other nonprofits or other organizations that we believe in, that we want to say, hey, come use our space. It's open for you. And but over time, like, you just start to feel packed, and there's no space on the calendar for anything new or any new dreams. And our office space is just, we love it. We love being crammed in there, but it is just crammed. We have everyone in every nook and cranny of our office space. So Rod, actually, when he was feeling this, and we were all kind of feeling the, like, man, we're pretty packed in here. Right across this River Park building, right, kitty corner from us, the big red brick building. We use their parking lot. If you park in our quote unquote main parking lot, that's their parking lot,
not ours.
And so Rod, was walking around there, and it actually used to be where the Crossroads offices were.
Yeah, if you're an OG Crossroads person, we used to office there when we were at Walker Charter and North Point. And then because of the same issue, we never had any consistent space to use during the week because we were always using other buildings. We actually started renting the upper floor, and so that's where we got that name, the upper room. That was our first upper room. So we could have some youth group stuff, we could have some midweek stuff, we have a women's Bible study, men's Bible study, stuff that would benefit our church family. But then we adopted our upper room now to have that same name. But that's just kind of some of the history. We've had a long history, actually, a really positive history with that building and with the owners of that building, and they're super kind to let us use the parking lot anyway. So go ahead.
Yeah, so Carrie, who manages the building, who's been there ever since Crossroads was there, said, Rod, what are you doing in here? And he's like, oh, dude, we're so full. I'm just looking around. I don't know if you have any space. He's like, are you serious? We just had a space open up. Be perfect for you guys. And he went down. He showed us this Suite 180, which is why we're calling it 180 Place. And it's a beautiful space, 7,200 square feet with very high ceilings. And we all just quickly got a vision for this would be an amazing place to have worship, for adult ministries to meet on Sunday morning, now that we have children's ministry basically taking up the whole building, which is great, and they need that space. But we need a space for adult ministries to meet, college ministry to meet, the Post, the Walk. High school is going to be meeting there on Sunday nights. And then it has extra office space for 4 of our people to office out of there. So we just really feel like at the right place at the right time, literally God provided us what we feel currently was the perfect spot.
Yeah, and it's got its own entrance from the street, so you don't have to go through like the maze of offices to get to... Yeah, it'll have its sign, and you'll be able to see it. And
I'm excited for everyone to see it because it's actually amazing. I mean, it has like a Crossroads feel already. It just feels like a continuation of what we already have. So it's exciting.
Yeah, so we're praying it's going to be done September 13th for Sunday morning. I think a class is scheduled in there. And,
so it'll be where electives are held.
Yes.
Not in the main building on Sundays, which hopefully will be a little quieter for them too.
Yeah, because we have no space on Sunday mornings, like Matt mentioned, with the kids moving.
Yeah. And then high school ministry will be in there on that Sunday night.
Yep.
So we're really...
What great problems to have. Praise God.
100%.
Amen.
Right?
I love
Problems
it.
of abundance.
Yeah, so we're looking very forward to it. We're also going to, on September 20th, we schedule like an open house after the services. So
great.
If people might not get a chance to get over there, we'd love everyone just to come by and we can pray for it, bless it, have some coffee, and everyone can see it.
Anything else on your heart or Rod's heart that you can communicate as his mouthpiece, Matt, just as we lean into this fall? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think, every year, what an exciting time of year. When all of the ministries, after a much needed Michigan break at times, a lot of our ministries keep going through the summer, but it just feels like this momentum coming. And I feel like there's 2 sides of that coin. One is the anticipation that God is going to meet us in amazing ways in all of these ministries. And every single one of them, all of the leaders that are leading them, their heart's cry is that God would be known in the people's lives when they gather, and that his kingdom would come in their hearts and their minds, and then also in their homes and where they work and in their street corners. The other side of it is like, as Crossroads gets busier and busier, we were just talking about this yesterday, we want to keep the simplicity of reliance on God in the middle of it all. That all of these things does not on its own equate to the kingdom of heaven or discipleship or following Jesus.
100%.
None of that. It's what we do when we're there. So
good, yeah.
trying to hold those things in balance. We're excited about all the things God's are doing, but also trying to remind ourselves that busyness does not equal godliness.
It's good. Really good.
So just trying to balance those things, I think.
100%. That's a good word as we get going.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into our text for the week. We're almost done with our journey through Isaiah. Then we're heading into Romans.
That's right.
The first 8 chapters. And then Advent and Exodus.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. Yeah, man. Great word on Sunday.
Really
I can say
good,
this genuinely as a brother. Like, nobody shaped me more in my preaching than Erik. And just as far as having helpful feedback and the right amount of critique and all this stuff. Anyway, but to sit under your brother's teaching and actually receive from the Lord is a gift. So, and I think what a text for kind of our journeys too, coming to faith later in life. Like, and you talked a lot about the heart objections that you saw in this text of God's people, in light of their sin and their straying from the Lord's purposes for their life and their calling. These heart objections that they would have for God welcoming them back in. This common refrain in 55 and 56 of God's invitation to his people to come and to repent and return. And I thought that was super helpful. And I just thought that for today it'd be helpful to even talk about just some of those objections. And first of all, like, how was it like discovering that or seeing that in the text? And
yeah,
you said that you originally, because Rod put these two together on the preaching calendar, and you said that like you hadn't seen them put together a lot of times, but then you came to
for sure. So Trig and I share a Logos library, which is just a digital Bible software, and we've amassed a large amount of commentaries, books, etc. So as I start grazing through the resources that we have, I've been assigned Isaiah 55, 56, and I'm not seeing anyone group these two chapters together. And so I'm like, okay, that's all right. I'm like, I trust Rod and Libby and whoever was in charge of putting these together.
That's all Rod, by the way.
All Rod. Yeah. The more I sat with it, I was just like, there is a living genius behind this division, because these two go together, and what God has joined together, let no man separate. And hopefully I made a compelling case to see them together. I think Trig and I talk a lot about the mark of a good sermon is what's left on the cutting room floor, and by no means to add any notches to my belt, but I felt more than at any time in my life that there was a plethora of material left on the floor. Even the linguistic connection between the chapters of the Lord building an everlasting name that shall not be cut off in 55, and then the exact same verbiage used toward the eunuch in 56. Yeah. That's just one of the connections that's very apparent that connects these two chapters. So anyways, it was just a joy. I mean, just coming to the Word and trusting that the brilliance of Isaiah, which is beyond the shadow of a doubt for us and our people at this point, that this is a brilliant author. A poet, a theologian, a man of God. He has so much more intention in what he's writing than what we might realize upon first reading. So, it was a joy to study. And then what sort of got me sniffing around this idea of objections was the explicit objections that the eunuch and the foreigner have in chapter 56. And so once I started being like, okay, these two are actually voicing their objections, is God potentially addressing other things in that realm? So that's essentially what got
and the first one you talked about is this idea that I have nothing to offer. So in verses 1 through 2, he says, come, all of you who have no money, come buy and eat, come buy wine and milk without money and without price. And you talked a little bit about, I loved when we dove into this at Midrash, that I think Rod said, not only can you not offer God anything, but you shouldn't even try. Like the posture, or was that you, Libby? I don't know. But I like that idea because it kind of goes back to the roots of like Crossroads DNA. And you talked about this. Where were you talking about Derek Tagius, the Church of the Desperate Ones? He coined that term. I don't know. Was that at staff meeting?
Yeah. Was it? New people luncheon the other day.
Oh, Connections.
Connection reception.
And that was actually Doug.
It was actually Doug.
Yeah, the Church of the Desperate
But either way,
Ones.
I mean, like I just thought about that phrase when you were preaching it on Sunday, like this idea that I think as good Americans that are raised in the performance culture and achievement culture, we come to God with that same expectation that He, needs us to bring something. Mm-hmm. But here in the text, to go, I have nothing to offer, and God says, come. Actually, please don't. You don't need money to buy the things.
Libby helped me a lot on Tuesday at Midrash, where I was like, these are a problem, and she's like, they're not just a problem. It's actually a requirement. And she said, she's like, perfect. You don't have anything to offer? Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's an important thing for people to hear. It's not just one state of many that we can come to God with. It is the only state that allows us to truly come to God.
Well, think about what would the world be like, or what would our faith be like if it was the opposite was true?
Yeah, terrible.
Can you imagine
right.
what that would be like if you felt like you had to bring something and every time it wasn't good enough?
Right.
And the pain that would bring, and the unequalness that would bring to our culture or our church. Like, well, he sure can bring a lot. God must really love him. But the joy in what you were saying, which I totally agree with, is that's not true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's even that question, verse 3 or verse 2. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and you labor for that which does not satisfy? If that doesn't define the state of our world right now, of human beings fretting around, constantly trying to accumulate and spend on things that don't truly satisfy the longings of our heart. And I had so many people on Sunday say, I can't wait to send this to someone in my life who needs to hear that.
We just got to get it posted first, right?
Yeah.
But
well, I loved how you started in your intro, and I remember you saying this in Midrash, is that these are objections of the heart. Yeah. And I think that's where it hit me between the eyes in a lot of ways, because my head knows all the right answers. Do you know what I'm saying? If you've been walking with the Lord for a long time, you know what's right, you know what's true, you know his promises, you know his character, and yet your heart still has objections. Right. I mean, that's probably why Proverbs says your heart is deceitful, but your heart keeps coming up with these things, but because it's so counter to like how we're wired. And I love that you said that, because really, like, we can know that God satisfies, and we can buy this, we can believe that you spend money for things that aren't bread and your wages aren't going to satisfy you, but your heart keeps saying, but this looks like it will satisfy me. It looks like, so really it's I love that you made that distinction between the heart and the head. Like, these keep surfacing because of our hearts.
Yeah. It's from experience, obviously. Like, these are things that I've thought and had to deal with and currently still deal with. And an image I had on my mind all week that didn't find its way in this sermon was on my car. I have a backup camera, but I don't have. It's not new enough to have one of the forward cameras.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm ever parallel parking in a really tight spot and I have a passenger, I'll be like, "Hey, can you get out and tell me how much room I have?" And that's one of my least favorite things in the world to do, is to look at someone who's saying like, keep coming, because it looks like you're about to hit the car. And there's this hesitancy to trust that they actually mean come closer. And I get like nervous, like too close. And I was projecting that on, I think, sometimes how I feel with the Lord, where it's like, come close, but like that's close enough.
Yeah.
And he keeps inviting me closer, and I'm like, my skin's crawling back. Like, I don't think I can get that close.
Yeah.
I don't think I can get that close. But his invitation is greater than our hesitancy.
Yeah, and I think
that's what I think that's what Isaiah, God is trying to do, is like this invitation. The theological term is the effectual call of God. And it's an important theological term, even if it's not a biblical word like Trinity. that his calling, according to Isaiah 55, is effectual. It works.
Yeah.
It's actually more powerful than your stiff arm of God.
That's good. Yeah. I loved how you said that with your kids, right? You said it's not super effective when you say, come here, and they run the other way. That's like how we are. Yeah.
Our words are the opposite.
Yeah.
Our words do the opposite. But I think that leads perfectly into that second point that you made in verses 6 through 9, where this idea that I'm too far gone. And he says, and let the wicked forsake his way, and unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return to the Lord, that he may have compassion on him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. There's that idea that, like, if I come close and you see my wickedness, there's no way that you could accept me. And it's like Isaiah is just knocking down objection after objection. And I know that there are a lot of people with that particular view. I would say maybe even especially in a place like West Michigan. And I think the enemy does a really good job of people that have maybe yet even come into a gathering at Crossroads, or any church for that matter, believing that they don't belong there because they're not like those people. Well, if they only knew what I did, if they only knew how far I've went away from the Lord, I could never be accepted. And I would say probably your sin is benign. I mean, I don't know, but whoever's listening is benign compared to the wickedness that Rod so beautifully unpacked for us the previous week, like of how far gone God's people had been, which only makes this statement all the more powerful.
Right.
I mean, not only had they started worshiping foreign gods, but the types of practices that they were engaging in were detestable. I mean, what did you have something?
No, yeah, I loved when you said there's more patience in God than there's rebellion in you.
Yeah, it's good.
And I've just always felt like, guys, like,
hey, why are you giggling?
It's so good.
It's so good. Like God just, he knows us.
Yeah.
And for those of us that have kids, like when a kid is repentant and is truly sorry, like what wells up in you, especially because you know your own kids' faults and weaknesses, when they're like, you're like, I love you. And I feel like it's that same in our best moments is just like an ounce of what God feels towards us.
Right.
And he is so much more comfortable with us than we are of ourselves. He knows who we are. He knows that we're weak, that we're silly, dumb, childish. And it doesn't minimize the sin that happens and the destruction that happens. But I loved how you just pointed out, like, his heart for us, though, swallows all of that.
Yeah.
It's so encouraging.
Yeah. Where sin increases, grace abounds all the more.
Well, and you explain that by what Isaiah says next, or, this is God speaking through Isaiah. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. And I thought the way that you explained that was really helpful, because people quote, that's one of those coffee mug
it's a great
verses.
comfort, and it can be applied to other things, and it should be applied to other things. But the particular commentary is on the magnitude of his mercy. He's saying you might have a limited capacity to forgive, and all of us, frankly, we do, and God allows us more and more to grow our capacity to give to 7 times, 70 times. But we start with our human experience and project that onto God instead of taking his capacity and trying to adapt that to ourselves. And so since we have such a hard time forgiving, we think, I'm too far gone. Because either someone's too far gone for us to forgive, or we felt that way from others when we've sought forgiveness.
Yeah, and the thought that was running through my head when you were walking through that portion was how much, for me as a Christian, living in light of the cross and resurrection, that actually minimizes, not me. I think that what I'm doing is being helpful to God. Oh, you don't realize how bad I am, but really I'm minimizing his work on the cross by not affirming that he will abundantly pardon.
Your sin is not bigger than Almighty God. Your sin is not more powerful than the eternal Word of God hanging on a cross as your propitiation. It's actually, in a very insidious way,
propitiation
as a satisfaction for your sin. as the payment
Insidious,
for it.
Another big word.
Believe me, I'm not trying to.
I know. It's classic. I love it.
But it's actually a twisted form. That's a better word than insidious. It's a twisted form of pride at its core.
Self-pity.
To say, like, my sin is greater than God's mercy. You're not that important.
It's so hard for us to actually imagine, wrap our brains around, accept, and apply how big God is.
Right.
Like you have in your notes, the transcendence of God. So that is a great word. I don't know if you actually said that in your sermon, but because really when we think that God can't forgive, we're projecting ourselves on God.
Yes. Exactly.
And really, we should be projecting God on ourselves. It's a weird way of us making ourselves God. Yeah. So it's a weird
100%.
form of pride.
Right.
And when it's been one of the things that has hit me through Isaiah. I'm like, God keeps saying, this is too small for me. Yeah. Like, you guys got to start thinking bigger here. Right. Like, I'm so beyond what you're thinking, and I'm capable of, like, it's too small of a thing for me to just save Israel. Are you kidding? I'm saving the whole world. You just get to be a part of it. Like, God's ways are so much bigger. And I think, like you said, we can't forgive, so we think God can't forgive. But God actually wants us to become like him.
Right.
And for him to break through in our lives so that we can begin to project God on ourselves, not assume that God is like us.
For sure. It's good.
Yeah.
There was something I was thinking about. You made a bit of a distinction. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, between, you said, like, what you can't repair, God can redeem. Or when
it's good.
And I was trying to think through, sometimes what is our expectations of God's forgiveness? And is there a difference between reparation and redemption? Like when something is repaired? Because I think here, this forgiveness that God offers us, there is the hope that anything that we would do can be redeemed.
For sure.
But the repairing of hurt and broken relationships, or the, like, maybe a bad choice that leads to something that no longer is available in your life.
There are medical things that happen to people, oftentimes, again, something that they don't seek themselves, which is a whole separate conversation. But there are medical things that can happen to someone, male or female, that makes them unable to bear children. And from an earthly perspective, you could say in certain cases it's beyond repair, but it's not beyond God's ability to redeem. Just this past Father's Day, I was preaching at another church, and I wished a happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the room, both biological and spiritual, and how the church recognizes biological fatherhood and spiritual fatherhood. And there are two older men who are married, and I don't know the extent of their stories, who came up to me, guys who I had never had, like, extensive conversation with, and you could tell were just, like, holding back tears and gave me hugs, and they didn't say much. But that acknowledgement, which is a true acknowledgement, it wasn't me trying to help everyone fit in. That's a biblical principle of being a spiritual father, spiritual mother, and those guys are that. And again, for the sake of conversation, what was beyond their ability to repair, God has redeemed 100%. And made as something where they have 25 spiritual sons and daughters. They've got more sort of fatherhood in their, in their pinky than most men have.
And I love this angle because it takes it away from being like this fairy tale story. Like, my life was so bad, and then God put a wand over it, and poof, everything was great. Like, this is the reality of the world and the sin that we live in, and this, even choices that we've made. There's things in our lives that maybe are difficult, and even when we walk with Jesus, they're still difficult. Maybe 100%. The consequences of things we've done or haven't done. But God promises to redeem it. And that's also why you see these two chapters linking up too.
For sure.
Because that's the second part, not to jump ahead too much, but the eunuch is like, what am I supposed to do? I have nothing to, and he's like, I'm not going to repair it, but I'm going to redeem that in you. But
I thought you're still who you are. I thought the most important line for me, pastorally in the moment, was when I said, he's not necessarily going to give you the thing you want but can't have.
That's right.
That's very important for people to say. He doesn't say that to the eunuch. He says, I'm going to give you something better.
That's right.
And so our expectations of what we actually want and need to be conformed to God's word as well.
It's another instance of us thinking too small.
Right.
Like this eunuch's like, well, I'll never have kids, and I probably can't go into the temple because my body's marred. And God says, no, I'm going to give you my house as your house.
Yeah.
And then he says, on your walls will be a memorial. On the walls of this house will be a memorial to you, and a name better than sons and daughters. This name will be everlasting. And when you look at the new heavens and the new earth and the temple that's described there, the names that are written on those walls are the 12 tribes. And so he's like saying to this eunuch, like, you're going to have a tribe. Like you're thinking too small. Like, oh, I could never have kids in this life. He's like, I'm thinking again, like, God is so offering so much more than we thought we wanted, but that doesn't change the fact, like you're saying, Matt, they're still probably grieving for this eunuch in this life. Like, I'm not going to have an actual family that's going to live in my tent, and I'm not going to raise kids. But God's saying, just hold on, like something way better is coming.
That's it. On Sunday, it was reminding me of the Lewis quote that our Lord finds our desires not too strong but too weak.
Yeah, heck yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then he says, we are half-hearted.
Heck yes?
We are half-hearted creatures fooling about with drink and sex and
Dr.
ambition.
Stowell say to you right now?
I don't know.
Go get the spoon.
Double
Anybody
rod.
have a wooden spoon?
And then Matt would just say SI.
Yeah.
But we are fooling around with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us, like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at sea. We are far too easily pleased. And I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but the eunuch is... But I love what you just said about, say that again, about not necessarily giving us...
He doesn't necessarily give us the one thing we want but can't have. He gives us something better is what it
that
says.
word better stuck out to me, because how many times have I desired something that I thought I needed to be satisfied, and God says no to that, only to give something far greater.
Some want healing, understandably so, more than anything else in life. It's the one thing they want. And should they want it desperately? Yes. Should it be the ultimate thing they want? No. They should want a resurrected body, which they have promised in Christ. That's the better thing that they need. Which, again, please don't hear me wrong. We want the healing. We want the restoration. But what we need is something better. We don't need this frail body to necessarily be restored. We need a resurrected body, like the body that our Lord inhabits.
That's right. Never to die again.
So I want to go back in the conversation just for a second, though, because can you think of anything in your life personally that God redeemed but did not repair? Or wait, did I get that?
No, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Or is redeeming.
Or is redeeming, but didn't necessarily.
Yeah, right. I mean, right away when you... I don't know if I can share all of it, but like
don't tell him about me.
Yeah, my relationship with my sister. No, of course not. I don't know.
Do you need me to leave the room for a minute?
Maybe you guys can feel the same way, but right when you asked that, like there was like 3 things that popped in my head that were really deep in my heart that I'm almost like I don't know if I could share that.
No, exactly, and you don't need to.
Yeah, so
there's
a lot of things coming in my head
to that question,
and you're like, but I did see the hurt maybe wasn't taken away, but
100%.
And the relationships weren't always secured, but I did see redemption in it, if I kept my eyes on the Lord and saw like a bigger plan and was unselfish, I don't know if that's helpful. I wish I could share, but I don't know.
It's an excellent question. I think
a little bit of both.
Of us are all saying immediately yes.
Yeah.
And it is deep. It is a deep question because it's a real dynamic.
Well, and I don't have anything specific, but I do think in marriage, like there's things in your marriage that, you could project on your husband that really should be fulfilled by the Lord. And there's times when you think when God's met me in a special place when I've projected things on Rod that really I should be going to the Lord for, if that makes sense. So, and redeemed Rod and mine's relationship in a sense when
you didn't get what you want.
Yeah, when I didn't get what I wanted to, and I was able to look for the Lord, and it's freed Rod up to not have to play that role in a sense. But at the same time, it wasn't exactly what I thought I wanted. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
100%.
exactly what.
Now you're marrying those two ideas. That's exactly right. I remember Mallory and I getting married. Our first 2 years of marriage were by far the most difficult because we thought that what we wanted was this idealized version, this idolatrous version of Christian marriage, where there was Jesus, yes, but like on a little bit of a lower tier, just a few steps below, was like this idol of marriage where your spouse satisfies.
Come on, Pastor Trigg. Preach it, brother.
Oh my gosh, that was so cringe.
No, I mean, you're touching it. You're touching a nerve.
But that's 100% it. And we had to go, what we thought we wanted was for each other to satisfy those.
Yeah.
To heal those wounds that only the Lord could heal, to satisfy those desires only the Lord could satisfy. And he had to say no to that thing that we wanted to give us something greater. Mm-hmm. And that was simultaneously something that he did not repair, but he redeemed. Like he allowed that to crash and burn, those expectations. And I think you emerge on the other side of that actually more satisfied in your marriage and more satisfied in the Lord when you don't elevate a human being to that status.
But I have a lot of things in my life right now that are in the half stages.
100%.
You know, so that's a good word, like to keep living and looking for the redemption, not necessarily the repair. Am I getting that right? Yeah. Not necessarily the quick fix.
Right.
His solutions are so much more brilliant than Dad used to always say, God has options you've never dreamed of.
100%.
So that's always stuck with me, because you think you got these things figured out and how they should be, but like you're limiting God. The options that he has at his fingertips are
his ways are higher,
way bigger.
His thoughts are higher.
100%. And when we're in that land in between, we ask that fifth objection, I think, which is, what if it never gets better? And you talked about this in verse 12 of 55 to verse 2 of 56. Instead, the thorn shall come up, the cypress; instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle. It shall make a name for the Lord, an everlasting sign that the Lord shall not be cut off. Thus says the Lord, keep justice and do righteousness, for soon my salvation will come, and my righteousness be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the Son of Man who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath, not profaning it, and keeps his hand from doing evil. So there is actually something for us to do in the meantime.
Sidebar, there's a lot of talk about Sabbath. Because even for the eunuch, it's the one who keeps the Sabbath and chooses to do
What do you think
right.
that's about?
I don't know. It's convicting.
It is convicting.
Super convicting, because the Sabbath is the only quote unquote holiday of the Lord's that we're going to celebrate in the new heavens and the new earth. And I don't know. I'm just terrible at it. So anyway, that was just a little sidebar.
But it is probably the one of the 10 commandments that we as Christians in the West reject the most as non-essential.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on a soapbox if you want.
About the Sabbath?
Either about that
it
comes up 3 times, and
I
it was one of those things that I left on the cutting room floor. I thought, and I imagine Rod will still touch it, even though our text slightly changed, but we were going to go into Isaiah 58 this upcoming Sunday, which deals very in a very intentional way with Sabbath. But here, I think it is at least a very clear marker of belonging to Yahweh and to his moral law, and doing the thing that shows that you've come to him. So another thing I left out. What does coming to God actually look like? It means listening to him. It means Shema, listening and obeying him, is what it actually looks like to come to him. That's what he says earlier in chapter 55. But here's an internal and an external sign that I belong to the people of God. The day that God set aside both in creation and in redemption, a day of rest, is a day that I'm observing to show the world that I belong to Yahweh. That's at least, I think, sort of the foundation of what that means. Is it's not cheap grace. It's not them saying, I want to belong to Yahweh in name, but not in reality. No, like they've opted in. They've joined themselves to the Lord, and now they're observing his ways.
And it's interesting to me that the way they join is by ceasing to do, which is, it ties into all of the other themes. It's you have nothing to offer.
Right.
Good. Yeah. That's actually why I instituted the Sabbath, just to remind you that you're human and that you can't complete all of your work. And you need to stop anyway.
A fascinating study for people to do in their private time with the Lord is to look at Exodus 20 and the giving of the law, and then Deuteronomy 5, the re-giving of the 10 Commandments, It's almost verbatim, except for the fourth commandment, fourth commandment.
No.
On the Sabbath. Is that fifth? Fifth.
Yeah.
No other gods before me.
Bible's up.
Shall no other gods before me. Don't make an idol. Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah,
observe the Sabbath is 4, and then honor your parents 5, I believe. Anyways, and a digression. But the fourth commandment is the only one with substantial change. Because in Exodus 20, God tells them to observe the Sabbath because of how he created the world. Whereas in Deuteronomy 5, he roots it in the fact that you were once a slave in Egypt. You know what it's like to work 7 days. And because I redeemed you, now you should rest. So he's stacking reasons on top of reasons why we ought to rest. So it's just it's a really interesting change in how God articulates his heart from Exodus 20 to Deuteronomy 5.
What about you, Matt? Are you a good Sabbath keeper?
Oh, I'm terrible at it. But I'd like to be better at it. I'm always, I mean, just to be honest, like I always feel convicted about it and think, man, it's such a, but those rhythms are hard to come by.
Yeah, especially in our culture.
Our culture, and it's my own, I think sometimes my person, like I like to be busy, but none of that is a true excuse. But I feel the consequences for sure of not.
Yeah.
But I don't usually look at this as the solution. It's better organizing. It's better conversations, quicker.
Well, Sabbath is actually an invitation. It's another, let us reason together. It's come near. It's an invitation. So
let's have some time together.
Someone said to me once, Sabbath is you showing that you're in charge of the work. The work isn't in charge of you. Which is good, I think.
And
not that that's just something I can say and actually not practice. So I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
But it's something to think about. It's, yeah.
We had a friend in college. His name was Tyler, and his dad lived a few streets off of Wheaton's campus, and he was a practicing lawyer, and he was a full-time master's student at Wheaton, and he had 2 kids, and he hosted our small group every week. He was super involved in church, and I'm like, I looked at him one time because I knew that they were, I don't want to say strict, it's a bad word to apply to the Sabbath, but they were wholehearted
Sabbatarians
in their observance of a day of rest. I'll put it that way because I think that's accurate. And I asked him, I was like, how do you do that? And he goes, it's an act of faith. And that stuck with me. There is a faith component of being like, I've got, just because you're sitting in front of me, I got 13 things to do for 180, or else it's not going to be ready for all these people who love Jesus and who need to be ministered to on this day, right?
Yeah.
I believe, Lord, that you can do in 6 days what I can't do in 60 days, So I think there's a faith component as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a good text.
This text was amazing. I think we should do Isaiah again next summer and just do the text that we didn't hit.
Yeah, good idea.
I've actually been pleasantly surprised by Isaiah. I wasn't super pumped when Rod mentioned it, and I wasn't intimidated either. I just it's not one that I've actually really had on my bucket list of thinking about, but it's been really good.
So good.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
To that point, what another thought that popped in my head, and this might be slightly random, but thinking through obviously what we believe that this scripture is inspired by the Lord, the speaking through Isaiah, but what he says in a lot of it's just so otherworldly.
Yes.
Who would invent this? Why would you ever say it?
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't from the Lord, because it's just it goes against every
100%
way our heart wants to go.
Yeah.
And it just seems it's just so otherworldly, some of these concepts that he's writing down. Just God's ways are not our ways, obviously. Another thought I had about it too just is that what if this sermon this week was obviously an invitation on us to kind of think differently against our own grain of thinking that normally happens. But I was thinking too, what if we were if we become these things to the world?
That's right.
So good.
It would change the world.
Yeah.
It would.
If we could truly be we would be the people of God if we could inhabit these 5 or 6 things that you brought up. You know what I mean? How cool would that be if our hearts, if our heart postures were for forgiveness and grace and truth. We spoke truth. I don't know. I was inspired by it.
You're hitting on something so key in this text. Another thing that I intentionally chose not to mention for the sake of time. But God invites us,
and the congregation thanks you for that.
God invites us persistently. Again, I was almost joking, like he seems obsessive. He seems overbearing early. Verse 1. Verse 5, behold, you shall call a nation that you do not know, and a nation that did not know you shall run to you, because the Lord your God and the Holy One of Israel has glorified you. Those who've been called, he immediately uses to call.
Yeah.
And there's he thrusts us right into mission as soon as we come. It's like, it's my favorite part of the day is coming home and seeing my kids and they run to me. But another precious time is when I leave for work and they give me a hug. But like I draw them close and then I send them like to have a great day. You know, be brave, be good, all this stuff. And it's like, come close, send. Come close, send. That's kind of the picture I had. So it's not just like a logical consequence to this message. It's literally in this text. We become missional when 100%. God invites us to himself.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good. Really, really good. And that's what flows into the crossroads. Just a nation of priests. You've been called out of darkness. Now go call other people out of darkness. Yeah. It's what a joy. What a partnership. What an invitation. There's no, again, we might think we need something different or want something different, but to participate in that is the highest calling.
100%. Praise be to God. Well, thanks for dropping the word on Sunday, and looking forward
Eric.
to the fall, and we will link whatever we said we're going to link in the show notes. And
wonderful
PDF of the fall opportunities. Let's get it on there.
Yep. All right. Well, we love Crossroads. Have a great week. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.